Hi guys and girls, this is Claudia here from Novarock 2017. And we have the pleasure now to talk to Mike of
DevilDriver.
DevilDriver.
For a minute, I thought you didn't know.
No. So you were playing show today at Novarock, and where else did you play so far?
Let's see. I think this was our 5th show of this tour so far. We did Zurich, did Download Paris, Download England. We had a day off in Holland, and then we played Holland. Was that the last show? Yeah, we played Holland, and I forget the name of the city. And then we did Essen yesterday in Germany.
Right.
And that was a fun show. And then we were here today, and we barely made it here today.
Oh, okay. What's that?
A long drive last night.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a good show. The crowd was a little bit mellow. We were only the second band on today, but by the second song, the crowd was amazing. I had so much fun.
Cool. Good. Yeah.
Oh, that breeze
So
was good.
yeah.
Very hot today.
It's really hot.
More beer.
Oh yeah, that's right. So and you're on tour right now. Like, is it a very long tour?
Only 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Very short. I think it's too short, actually. I usually, when I come to Europe, I like to come for like anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks at least. But 2 weeks, go home, and my girlfriend's glad it's only 2 weeks.
So you'll see him again soon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing. Right. So before the interview, you said, well, I can't say a lot about lyrics. We did that with Des. But what about your songwriting? Like, where does your inspiration come from?
I suppose sometimes when I have writer's block, I'll listen to, some other music just to kind of get some ideas flowing and kind of get me. I've noticed when you're writing music, you basically have to start with a blank canvas and, basically pull something out of nothing. And sometimes I have a hard time getting started on a song because I'll write a bunch of things and I just don't really like it, but or it sounds like something I've written previously. But sometimes I found if you just, even just getting up and walking away for 5 minutes or listening to something else, it'll kind of spring an idea in your head and go like, oh, I'll do something similar to this, and then sometimes things come out of nowhere. But it all comes down to just me sitting down in my studio and playing guitar. And then once I get like 2 or 3 riffs that I like that I think could work together in a song, I'll start programming drums to it, and the song will take shape from there. And then once I get it done, I send it to the other guys, and they'll be like, I like this, I don't like this, and then some songs we'll work on together. And every now and then there's a couple songs where I'm like, you guys aren't changing a fucking thing. Like this is the song, this is it. And I think the only song, there was 1 or 2 songs on our new record, like My Night Sky, and I think there was one other song where I felt so strongly about it, and Des really liked it that we didn't really work on it as a band, but the majority of the stuff we'll work on in a band together at some point. And now that Neil and Austin are in the band, I really respect their opinions, and they'll come in and a lot of times they'll offer something to the song that I never even would have thought of. And then it goes the other way too. Like, Neil will write songs and bring them in, and I'll do the opposite with his songs.
So when you're writing like the music first, and there's no like topic or something or lyrics being set before, but you start off with the music. Yeah,
it always starts off with the music. I know Des, he's always writing lyrics and taking notes in his phone, and we'll be talking in the back lounge, sometimes at the bus on tour, and who knows what we're talking about, but he'll be like, ooh, that's a good lyric, and he'll put it in his phone. But I mean, generally all the music is written, and then I give it to Des, and I have very little to do with the vocal process. Last time I was supposed to go and help him out with vocals a little bit down at his house when we were working on Trust No One, but he blew his voice out in the first couple of days, which he usually does, and then he's got to wait a few days, let it heal, and then after that he's good. And but I was in Australia on a surf trip, so I told our producer and Des, I'm like, just make it good, I'm out of here. You know, like
I'm almost-
I had been working on the record for about 2 years. I was so burned out on it. I was just like, I didn't even feel I could offer any good feedback at that point, you know, because you do kind of get burned out on it after a
Right.
while, you know, because I've been, you know, each song while you're writing it, but from beginning to end, I've probably listened to that song 500 to 1,000 times.
You won't listen to it again.
No, I
You just
mean, once
play
the
it.
record's done, I don't want to even get near it for at least 6 months. Like, I just don't even want to hear it.
But you know, what's the feeling like when you're on stage and you get into your music like again once it's settled? Like what is it for you when you go on stage?
I think it has a lot to do with the crowd, you know, and it has to do with the country that you're in. Every country's a little different as far as, you know, people in Holland have a tendency to be a little bit more mellow, and then like we did a headliner in Holland one day, and then we did a headliner in Germany one day, and they were both great shows, but Germany is just more brutal and violent.
Yeah.
People in Holland they just kind of sit there and, you know, they're getting into it, but and then you go to the States, and even more violent, you know, just very brutal crowds. And then when we go over to Canada, it's a little bit more mellow, you know. So a lot of things affected, you know, your mood that day. Did we sleep last night? Did we not sleep last night? You know, we just did a couple shows in South Africa a couple months ago, and our first time being there, but I mean, we were all running on zero sleep for the most part. So you know, there's a lot of things that can affect it. Are there gear problems? But
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's been a little over 13 years I've been in this band, and I still love doing it.
That's, you know.
No, I'm not burned out yet.
That's a
not yet.
good thing.
Yeah.
So, do you get like energy from playing?
Yeah, and like I say, it has to do with the crowd. Sometimes it'll just, you know, it'll be a little bit boring. Depends on when and where you are. And after 13 years of doing it, I was thinking about it today, you know, the fire that you have when you first join a band and you start touring, it's different after 10 years of doing it, because you've been doing it for 10 years. So that's, you know, as you get older, things change, and you, like, certain things were priorities now weren't really a priority back then. Like 10 years, I definitely concentrate more on being a tighter guitar player now than I was, you know, I was probably more concerned of how I looked on stage 10 years ago than I do now. So yeah, things change.
So you concentrate more on like the sound.
I think I concentrate just after playing for 10 years, or, you know, you have a tendency, you know, now we're using inner monitors too, which is the first time this band has done this. You know, we've been doing it for about 3 years now, and you could really hear a difference. And when I first put those things in, I started noticing things about my playing and kind of going, ooh, I need to work on that a little bit, you know. But yeah, things change.
So practice, guys. He's doing it too. You know.
Sometimes people just got it too. Not everyone needs to practice, and it also depends on what kind of band you play in.
So I have a special question that I put in all my interviews, which is, what defines an artist? Are you an artist?
I find it a little bit, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose I am an artist. I mean, I you know, music is a form of art. I think it's not something I go and tell people, like, when they ask me what I do for a living. I'm an artist.
I'm an artist.
Like,
Ooh.
you know, like, how vain can you sound?
Ooh.
No, I don't say that.
Yeah.
I usually, I just consider
say?
myself a musician.
Yeah.
You know, I actually really try to avoid, when I'm meeting new people, like, what do you do for a living? You know, like, I used to say, oh, I play in this heavy metal band called DevilDriver, and, you know, when I was younger, and now it's just, I avoid that question because I really don't, and, like, it's not that I'm not enjoying talking to you right now, but I generally don't like talking about my job too much with random
you're
people.
also a person, like
I
a
like-
private person.
I enjoy talking about it with other people that are enjoying bands, because they get it. But a lot of people, they think that, one, I'm either lying when I meet new people, like, because like, he doesn't play guitar for a living. No one likes.
You can't live on that.
Or they think I'm just some bum in a local band living in my parents' basement.
Okay.
You know, I could just tell when I tell them what I do for a living, you know. And let's face it, most people haven't heard of DevilDriver unless you're into the metal scene.
Okay.
You know, people that listen to country and blues and classical
Right.
music, you know, they don't pay attention to what DevilDriver's doing. But I try to avoid the question. I've even flat out lied. You know, my dad owns a hardware store, and sometimes I just say that I work for my dad. You know, it's like I don't even want to get into the whole musician talk, and sometimes, you know, they just talk and they ask you questions that I've heard a million times, and you know, generally I just don't like talking to my job with people that aren't in the music industry. You know, but if people really want to ask, you know, I'll tell them, and sometimes the worst is distant relatives.
Oh, okay.
You know, people that are related to you that you haven't seen in a long time, and they just want to hear all the stories, and they think it's all about cocaine and women and alcohol and drugs, and
It's just about alcohol.
no, I mean, you know, this is probably going to be the last beer I have of the day, but it's I don't know, people don't get it. I think, you know, they ask you a question and you give them an answer, and it's not, you know, what they've seen on MTV growing up.
Okay.
So I try to avoid it.
So what is music for you then?
Everything. I mean, music has been a big part of my life since I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I've been interested in a lot of things. I do have a lot of hobbies, but music has always been taking the forefront to everything else in my life, 100%.
So you do other things to like distract yourself and enjoy other stuff?
Yeah,
Not
like,
just-
I spend a lot of time surfing when I'm at home.
Yeah.
I live near the ocean, and hopefully I'll never have to move away from it. But yeah, I generally enjoy just my life at home is surfing, kiteboarding, and writing music. And I like to produce other bands. I got a new company that I started called Audio Vault, where I sell Kemper profiles, Axe Effects presets. You might not know what that is, but any guitar player that's listening would.
To him, yeah.
Yeah, just try to keep myself. I like being in the studio. You know, I like doing studio stuff. I like guitar gear, and I'm kind of nerdy that way, I suppose.
So you don't own just one guitar.
You
don't own just one effect board, I guess.
No, I have. ESP Guitars has been very good to me, and I've been with them since I joined the band in 2004, and I've accumulated quite a collection at home.
Right.
Yeah. I have my favorites, but I like guitars. You can never have too many guitars.
You can never have too many guitars, that's true.
No.
Like, you're still playing around like with sound, you know, and thinking, no, that's not quite what I want, you know.
I think
and you,
that's like a disease that every guitar player has. You know, there's an endless search for a better guitar tone always, and you know, every now and then something new will come out, and then it's, you know, I got to try that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm not playing with the same tone I was 2 years ago. You know, I always find something new and I tweak it, and that's, I think, just part of being a guitar player. Always looking for something better.
Right. So I hope you will play around with sound for a long, long time, and I thank you very much for the interview.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.